Now I want to go into how it relates to us in the Rio Grande Valley. And I'm so proud of Senator Hinojosa. I had the privilege of working with him for many years. And let me tell you, we have a top-notch guy here that has represented us very well and is very strategically centered in the Senate to do us a lot of good. And we thank you for that, Senator. But when I look at Susan Combs' budget, and I asked the senator, because I thought that it was something smaller, 45% of the state of Texas budget comes from Washington. One more time, 45% of the Texas budget comes from Washington. Why is that important? Why is that an important statistic? Based on my analysis, remember, I qualified my presentation. This is my interpretation, and my interpretation may be wrong. But why is that important? Well, go back to the early part of my presentation. If the federal government is having to borrow money to meet its obligations, and we may not be able to borrow any more money in the future to meet our obligations, what's the next step? Is cut funding and cut services, because you can't spend money that you don't have. Okay, now let's move into the Rio Grande Valley. This is the only guess that I've taken. And I am guessing that our economy is broken in three almost equal parts. What we earn and consume, 1/3. What the Mexican shoppers and visitors come over here, including our winter visitors, another 1/3. And a 1/3 are the entitlement programs that our people receive. I have to be close to being right, because I have a pretty good idea that the 1/3 for Mexico is reliable, because the Federal Reserve Bank did several studies, and there are several studies that basically show that. I think I'm pretty sure about the other 1/3 for federal entitlement programs, because 30% of our people are below the poverty line. Okay? So our economy is heavily dependent. 30% of our economy is heavily dependent on those checks from the government. But going forward, how many of you would lend money on the promise that they're going to pay you if the money comes from the federal government? Let me go into the Mexican visitors. And I think we have some representatives here from our congressional people. In year 2000, and here's my BTA experience, and Monica Stewart is here, by the way. I want to thank Monica also, because she spent a lot of time working for all of you here to keep our economy strong when Washington wanted to ruin a lot of our business with arguably one of our biggest trading partners in Mexico. We had 290 million legal visits from Mexicans to the United States. That's a lot of visits. By 2006, it went down to 210 million legal visits. Why am I sharing that with you tonight? Well, if 1/3 of our economy are Mexicans coming over here and consuming, they can't cross illegally because we are sealing the border. And all Americans Americans are telling the federal government, seal the border. So the only way, ladies and gentlemen, people from Mexico can come here and shop and consume our goods and services is they have a legal right to cross. But do you know that they're losing their legal visas right and left every day? Sometimes for simple reasons that I don't think you're going back. So I'm going to pull your visa because I don't think you're going back to Mexico. The lady's wearing diamond rings, expensive this, says, but I have a home, my children, everything. No, you have a water ticket here in McAllen, so I bet you live in McAllen. I'm sorry that I'm criticizing our federal agents because they do a wonderful job. Okay? But it's killing our economy here because we're losing many of our people that can no longer come here simply because they don't have legal visas to come here. We have $13 billion worth of deposits in our local banks in the four county area. It is estimated that 40% of those deposits belong to Mexicans. They're starting to take their money and going elsewhere. But I'm going to tell you that if banks don't have deposits, banks can't lend money. And I'm not saying that I have an answer to that issue. All I'm saying that is a concern to this region. Because our deposits in banks, 40% of them, I believe, are from Mexico. Our customers have to have a legal visa to cross over here and consume. And if they don't have it, then they can't come.